What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are getting ready here. Good morning, Jose, Brandon. Okay, we are getting ready here for our live session. Oh, Anaya. Great to see you all. I'm excited to figure out. Today's going to be an interesting session, a really good one. We're kind of going to hit the reset button and look at everything with fresh eyes. Isan, really, Carlo, looking forward to it. So, without further ado, wait, let me notify everyone that we are live. All right. Oh, got a bunch of thumbs up already. Showing the love. Taco Traders. That's right. Chris. Cloudy England. That makes much more sense. Miguel. Doing a quick head check over here. All right. Amir, welcome. Glad you're here with us. Absolutely got it. Eli. All right, we all got audio? All right. Here we go. Again, we have a backup stream. If anything goes wrong, we're all good. We are now completely paired. S&P, I see a second support trend line from the May 14th bottom. I don't, let's say, that's this too steep for my blood, but maybe if that breaks. All right, everyone. Let's kick this off over here right now. First of all, glad you're all here. S&P doing its thing, up another 0.5%. And everything continues to be rosy. We saw this morning we had some ADP numbers that came in way better than expected. It seems like an anomaly. People do not know what's going on there. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We don't know how that's going to bode for Friday's non-farm employment. We'll see. We'll see what happens over there. We'll probably get a little bit more information today. Market's kind of unaffected by it. What we are looking at, though, you got a 10 o'clock a.m. You got Bank of Canada rate statement. All right. You also have ISM non-manufacturing, and then tomorrow is the ECB. So we got some big calendar events away. As we get into the euro, we'll take a look at what's going on with tomorrow's meeting. Right now, let's just focus in on the charts. Roman John, good morning. Good morning. Thomas still accumulating. Yep. Patel, for sure. We've been in a strong uptrend up there. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. NASDAQ is leading the way to the upside. I really want to talk about the dollar today, and we're going to do that as we start talking about the dollar. So let's start over here with the NASDAQ, though. Let me pick in on Bitcoin. You can see Bitcoin is actually right back within this little consolidation pattern we got going on, right? So wait for the next break outside of that. Interesting that this was a huge pump up into the resistance, took out stops on the way down. I know a couple of people accumulating. I didn't yet. And now we're back down into the middle. Stefan, everyone's watching the NASDAQ. Let's do something a little bit different today. Let's take a look here at the triple coups. It looks to me like they're going to be taking out some stops up higher. We'll see. Or we're going to do a little bit of stop hunting. How many people have stops up here? Interesting. I don't know. We're going to look at the dollar with an open mind. We're going to look at everything right now, and we're going to see whether or not the dollar looks like it's going to reverse, or it looks like, yeah, Tim, that's right. The next 5 to 6 months for me, all accumulation. That's right, Tim. We'll see. I would not be surprised if we get a little bit of a pump, a further continuation a little bit. This is a complete V. Wow, did you know everything is back to normal? Look at that. Insanity. All right. So Same thing going on here on the S&P. We just got some euphoria on its way. It looks like that we're taking out this area of resistance. This line, again, this is not like a pinpoint accuracy line. This resistance we have over here at 30.96. That's just a general guide of where we were looking at, perhaps a level of resistance. We have we have all the way up. We have another 30 or yeah, I'd say about 30, 38 points possible to the upside before we come into some really big resistance. So let's put that in. So do I expect that we continue up? I'm neutral right now, and I'm not looking for a position. I'm a completely open book. If that changes, we'll change. But right now, obviously, this insanity continues. I'm going to call it insanity because it's pretty much insanity. Now we're working on 7 of 8 days up in a row here. Is this eventually going to turn over? Listen, things don't go straight up and go straight down. Now there doesn't seem to be a trade one way or the other in this moment this morning. So we're just going to watch how price reacts this morning. We'll take it from there. All right. I do want to talk about Bitcoin. We just looked at Bitcoin. There's nothing going on Bitcoin today at all, right? Bitcoin is consolidating now back within this little consolidation pattern. It provides a good guide if we get another breakout to the upside. I simply don't know. Tomorrow we're talking about the difficulty adjustment over the next few days. Wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of pressure on Bitcoin. It looks to me, I don't know what to say. All I know is that it went up into the resistance, is back, took out stops to the downside, it is now back in it. There's no edge one way or the other. But as Tim was saying, good morning. As Tim was saying that Grayscale was down 10%, buying opportunity. I am looking at everything until December of this year, until December of this year. Here we go, December. And I believe price is going to be somewhere between 17,000 and 19,000 around December of this year. It's all a buying accumulation opportunity for me. I will just month over month be looking to accumulate buying off supports. Even when Bitcoin's at $15,000, $16,000, I will continue accumulating as we are getting ready here. So what I do want to talk about, by the way, oil's slightly off bid, but it's coming down to an area of what looks like support. Pay attention, right? OPEC is having a little bit of issues, kind of put a little bit of pressure over there. Good morning, Nelson. Glad you're here. Shane, good morning. Everyone's in here. Someone came in over here and flipped us off. All right, let's take a look at gold, and then I'm itching to get into the DXY with you all and talk about it. So yeah, gold is breaking down a little bit over here with that weak dollar. What does that tell you? Well, we got, let me step back a second. Step back and look at this. Step back. Again, we got this trend line over here, this channel, this bullet. We're still maintaining the breakout over here. There is still opportunity here for gold to be able to come off a little bit. However, it's starting to look like a little fragile. No question about it. That's fine. Longer term, I would love to see a little bit of a pullback in gold in order to be able to actually accumulate a position. This is going to be actually a dollar story that we're going to talk about right now. I could tell by the tone, by the cadence of my tone, that I am absolutely unsure and don't have any idea whatsoever right now. And that's it. That's it. I'm not looking to take any type of position or have any idea when it comes to gold right now. Personally, if anyone else sees anything, please definitely let us know in the comments so that we could work that into our analysis. I'm not seeing it. My eyes are kind of focused on this, right? That doesn't look so good. That looks like it might be a little near-term topping pattern. So, yeah, no, we're actually we start with the S&P. We then take a look at Bitcoin, gold, silver, DXY, and then work our way through all of the FX pairs. Take a seat, get comfortable, and hopefully, you know, even a notepad is a good thing. Even a notepad is a really good thing. How do you explain the weakness in both US dollar and gold together? Isha, yeah, that's really observant, but the same way that whenever we see a strong dollar is when we see strong gold lately. At what? Not even just lately, since December, right? Since December, except for outside of the crisis, and the crisis, gold sold off, right? But we've seen more often than not lately a strong dollar and strong gold. I think that they both are really just right now playing risk off. When there's risk off, you see a bid in gold, and you also see a bid in the dollar. So right now we're looking at a big risk on type of environment. How long it will continue is anybody's guess. That's what we're here for, to kind of figure out. Seasonally, this is not good time for gold. This doesn't look like a bull flag. A bull flag would, instead of be sloping upwards, would be sloping downwards like this. That's a bull flag right here. This pattern that I'm looking at. Oh, is this a bull flag you see right here? I'm looking at this one I have highlighted over here. That's what I see going on in the market. So yeah, we've been seeing right now this huge risk on atmosphere and gold. I know a lot of people are looking for gold to be a barometer of actually a possible weaker dollar here, or weaker purchasing power of the dollar at least. But right now, what gold is doing is gold is focused more on risk on, and because of that, it's trading off a little bit. As soon as we see any chances for opportunity with heightened tensions between China, gold will absolutely start going bid. Yeah, I'm as a no spam in the channel. All right, everyone wants to be. Oh man, you're really spamming. All right, we'll put you in a little timeout. I have to, you know, and then you know, we'll get to the Euro Japanese yen when we get to it. Listen, everyone, please be respectful of everyone. This is our place. This is our community. All right. So here we go. What's going on with silver? This looks nicer than gold, right? Looks like this is coming back down into an area right here you could see of support. We have two areas of support that we're watching. We're going to see if silver holds either one of them. So actually silver looks, you know, you're definitely in an uptrend, right? It looks a little bit more sound than gold here. I think this poses an opportunity. I'll come back and watch it later. Not obviously right now, but you can see it as we pull back into the first area of support. Both of these support levels we're watching to see if they hold, and if they do, that looks like definitely a possible opportunity to get in here. Yep. And what kind of strategy is that? That's not like you at all. So let's look at where we're wrong here on gold. Let's look at where we're definitely wrong over here. I could see the last swing low. The last swing low down over here came into the bottom of this channel, right over here where my mouse is at 1694. If you do follow the mouse horizontally to the left, you see that whole area of support and then resistance to the other side. So that's an area that you could definitely be watching. Let's draw that in over there. That's at 1694. Hope that is a little bit helpful. Nah. Yeah. Anyway, anyone who hasn't seen The Last Dance, you've got to watch it. It will make you a better trader. Watching the intensity of Michael Jordan's competition will make you a better trader. On the 1 minute, on the daily 1 minute chart. Dennis, what's the daily 1 minute chart, brother? David's on. David, first, David, while you're here, I really, David has sent some really, he did the research last night, pulling up some information he had shared with the group earlier. I'm going to send that out today. I'm going to send that out today through the group updates. If you're not receiving group updates, go right now to the group updates in the description and just go ahead and sign yourself up. David has outlined some incredible resources, some books, and I would like to share that with all of you. Thanks for doing that, David. I appreciate it. All right. So the dollar DXY, this is what I really want to talk about here with you this morning, and why I'm talking about it. We all know once we lost this channel over here, we were looking at dollar weakness, right? The question is that just getting started? Is that just getting started? And when I say just getting started, are we looking at, is this now the top over here of the dollar? And I'm talking about yearly top. Do I think at some point or other that we come back and we see a dollar strength spike, that the Fed loses control of the repo market again, that we see that dollar shortage taking effect? I absolutely do. But the timing of that, that's hard to say. The timing of that is impossible to say right now. I maintain that personally, and listen, all that I'm doing always is working out my ongoing thesis of the markets, right? You got to have that as the backdrop, and then we get. Sorry about that. I got Michael's comment about stop arguing. It really cut me off. I thought people maybe were arguing. I was like, that doesn't seem like our group. So here we go. Back to what's going on over here with the dollar. We really need, in light of everything that's happened, and what has happened is that there's been severe intervention in the dollar, right? Are we seeing a new shift over here where we actually will see prolonged weakness in the dollar? And where on the chart do we begin pricing that in? Is it simply a breakout of this range that we were just looking at over the past 5-6 weeks, right? Is this the start over here? Is this the peak and the start of a new dollar move? Are we going to see further dollar weakness, or are we going to see the dollar sometime over the next couple of weeks be able to maintain this? Aside from all of the expansion of the Fed's balance sheet, I think most importantly affecting the dollar right now is the fact that the interest rates have been lowered down, and no longer is that an attractive play for foreign investors. So it's a question that I'm struggling with this morning. It's Dennis, chill out, brother. It's a question that I'm struggling with this morning, and I really like to know your thoughts. I'm going to start spending a lot of time over the next couple of weeks really thinking about this, really trying to prepare ourselves, because if we're seeing what is going to be a big shift in the dollar, we need to prepare ourselves for that. Now, does that equal if we see a weaker dollar, are we going to see higher equity markets? It could go either way, right? We've seen in recent going back to just a few months ago, right, when we were at all-time highs in the indices, we were seeing a really strong dollar. Dollar was trading at 100 while the indices were trading at all-time highs, right? So, then you saw during February here when the dollar really came off, that's when the indices started coming off. So, the same way that you could normally say, oh, well, a weaker dollar equals stronger gold. That's not the correlation we've been seeing either. I'm not going to make an investment on the S&P on the fact that we may see a weaker dollar in the near term. That what I'm more interested in is positioning myself through FX against the dollar, if that's the case. And also specifically, is the same thing happening with the Japanese yen right now? Are we going to see continued weakness through the Japanese yen? Or is this something that right over here is getting ready to turn? I think it's really important to begin considering. I mean, of course, we knew on the near term over here as swing traders, as we've come down over here, all right, this was an indication that near term, we're looking at that weaker dollar. We're seeing that play out right now. Until we get back into this channel over here, that's that's the bias, right? Continued dollar weakness. How far that will go, that's another question. Maybe I need to present some more macro to you all, and I'll try to do that during an S&P video. David Hunter. Yep. Guys, let's try to regroup over here. Dennis, brother, I asked you to kind of chill out, right? This, listen, if multiple people are asking you the same thing, at that point, just come on, man. You gotta be easy here, right? You can't see much of a correlation between the DXY and gold, really. Well, this probably is throwing you off over here, right? But what happened since January 1st, right? From January or January 1st, right? For the first 2.5 months, you saw gold shoot up. You saw the dollar shoot up. For over 2 months, 2.5 months, it shot up from all the way up to 100. What did gold do during that time? This is going back to January, right? Back to March. Gold also shot up over $200. And then as the dollar came off, what happened? Gold came off. And then as the dollar came back up high, what happened? Gold came back up. So there's an enormously strong correlation between gold and the DXY this whole year. Extraordinarily close. All right. So let's get into the charts a little bit. Let's figure out what's going on today and how we're looking to position ourselves. I'm watching over here. We have the ECB meeting tomorrow morning. They're expected to go ahead for their pandemic emergency purchase program to add $500 billion, $500 billion. That's where the estimate is supposed to come in. Why that would probably continue to be supportive of the euro. That's probably not going to go ahead and give reason for the euro to continue this near-term appreciation. The euro is pretty overbought right now. Is pretty overbought. Now, if they come in on the higher end, $750 billion, that could continue the euro, this upward trajectory it's on. That's definitely in play. I'm looking here at the euro Japanese yen for a possible opportunity with the ECB meeting. However, I'm also wondering whether or not we're actually seeing a long term. So I'm not talking about the past since the March lows. For the past 2.5 months, 2 months, we've seen an uptrend in Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar against the dollar, against the Japanese yen. But is this coming to an end right now? Or are we? So there's a lot. Hugh, that's a really good comment. I wish I could highlight it for everyone. And let me just repeat that. You is saying it's an election year, which is historically will run strong. The dollar will historically run stronger to the end of the year. Would you expect different this year? There's a lot different this year. There's a lot different this year, and we've been through an enormous crisis, right? And what happened during that crisis? Rates down to zero, swap lines opened directly to central banks across the world, to most countries. $4 trillion expansion in the balance sheet, QE. You're also seeing we're also seeing stimulus directly from the government. Things are different. It's not normal. So I'm not really factoring that in to any of my analysis. It's a great question. It's a great insight. Jordan is asking also a really important question right now. He's asking what's driving this yen weakness? What's driving this? So, I mean, the yen strength, first of all, let's look at the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. This is going back till December, early January. This was before the crisis happened. All right. Before the crisis happened, we were looking at perhaps perhaps the Australian dollar breaking out to the upside over here. We were looking at phase one deal reached between the US and China. And that meant that perhaps we were looking at further global growth going into the election, right? Things were going to be pretty status quo. 2020 was shaping up to look like a pretty good year. Then that fell apart hard and quickly. And we then had the crisis, and then you had a run to the Japanese yen. You had a big run to the Japanese yen because it is a safe haven currency, right? Australian dollar, that's a risk on currency. So we're looking at the Australian dollar, Japanese yen to see that play out. And you could see how drastically the move happened. Now, ever since the Fed started QE, ever since the swap lines were opened, right? That's when we bottomed out. We bottomed out all the way down here. This was it an overreaction? At the time, it didn't seem like it. Everything was broken on the verge of actually being a really, really big disaster. The system falling apart. The system was breaking. There weren't enough dollars. People were hoarding those dollars, right? And then since then, we've come back up, and let's look where we are today. We're basically back up to where we were, right? Back in the beginning of the year. Now, what the market was pricing in over here last time was that, China and US kind of making up. We were looking to some further growth in 2020, and it was going to be a good year. Is that still what we're looking at right now? Just as the move down was way overpriced, is the move up now also overpriced? I still lean that way. This is the way I lean. I lean that this is the move up has actually been too far too quickly. I think this month itself, June, we're going to see a lot of further bankruptcies. It's going to put a lot of pressure on the markets. We're going to see earnings. The market's going to have to really worry about what's going on. And, that's my view. But at the same time, I always have to be worried about what if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong? Just because it's my view doesn't mean it's correct. And I want to absolutely beware of the possibility of the other side of the trade. That's what keeps me safe. That's why I'm looking at right now for the foreseeable future. Are we going to see a weaker dollar? Because if we are, I need to prepare accordingly. The same thing here with the Japanese yen. Is it possible that we're going to see a weaker? I can't imagine anything in the next 24, 48, 72 hours that could send the markets into risk off. The riots are not doing it inside the US. Right? China is basically abandoning the trade deal, buying soybeans directly from Brazil, and also winding down farm purchases in the US. We're seeing the rhetoric pick up. Last Friday, Trump held a press conference, basically declared war against China as his election platform, right? Right now, his focus is on what's going on in the country, because in the United States, the social fabric is falling apart. But as soon as that's over, and I assume it's going to be over at some point, he's going to focus back in on China. I can't imagine anything this week that is going to send us into risk off, right? But how long will it continue? These are the questions I'm asking myself. I know that we've been off the charts because how long we've been live streaming for? I can't even say. For about a half hour. It's 8:28. All things work towards good to those who love God, called according to His purpose. S&P getting ready to open over here in just a couple of minutes, and we are going to be checking that out in a little bit. Now, just because I can't see the market deciding to go over here and go risk off right now doesn't mean it won't. We always have our eyes wide open. Dollar continues to be very, very unbid. Unbid. Obviously is not a word. ECB meeting tomorrow. Gold continues to be under pressure. Silver, we're going to be watching. Silver's yellow. Not yet. I'm watching that on the 8-hour time frame, and that's where I'm looking to pick up my trades right now, and where I've been hanging out on gold and silver. Let's start getting into some charts. I'm going to start with the US dollar, Japanese yen. And even though the dollar is so weak, you could see that it has been stronger than the yen in this environment. Interesting, right? I mean, this could be an interest rate play as well. Both right now, we're looking at risk on, right? But Japanese yen rates obviously negative. Is a positive interest payout over here for long-term position traders. This line over here, let's not lose sight of it. This trend line over here, I've been saying as we get close to it, I will start paying attention to it. And what you're looking at over here is a 5-year trend line. We tried to break out of it twice, both times rejected. If we break out from over here, I want to be involved. Now, what about the breakout we just saw? Is that a good place, right? See this breakout over here of this range we've been in? We were in this tight range. We tried to break out to the downside. That failed. Here's the other part of the range. This is the support. This was resistance, which is just broken and should now be support. So is this a good place to get involved in a trade over here? Well, there was no pullback for me into the support, right? This was for me avoid, avoid, avoid. Now I'm getting interested over here. Now that it's broken its range, we're coming into resistance. We got horizontal resistance and we got trend line resistance, and all the way through 109.27, we got a little bit of resistance as well. So this area above us, we still got a lot of work to do, right? But we're getting close to breaking outside that trend line. And then I have this area over here, this blue line. The blue line over here was pretty big resistance, pretty big support. I'm not waiting for a break above there. I'm watching price right now, actually. I'm not looking to take an entry on this. But as we cross this trend line over here, that's where I'm going to be looking to position myself long. I want to take a trend line break like that. And I took both of these. We have to clear this level up here on the upside to think that we have really room to push this. But we're not there yet. We're becoming very close. It's a trade. This is not really, I'm not setting this up as a swing trade. I'm setting this up as a position trade on the break of that trend line. So I'll walk you through it as it continues to play out for me. All right, S&P continue to flow upwards. I mean, my whole thought right now is that if we see any further a turnaround in dollar strength, most likely it's because we're seeing some type of flows into for risk off, and at the same time we're going to see the gold firm up. That's my case. All right. So Euro Japanese yen, it's coming up. If you see over here, you could see this local bit of resistance. You could see that was support. You could see that was resistance. That's where we are right now. That's not something to trade off of now. To take a step back, this resistance over here at 122.68 is kind of a big deal. If we clear above that at that point, really not looking to play against the euro versus the Japanese yen to the short side anymore. I'll be backing off at that point. However, with the ECB in play, with the euro a little bit overvalued at these current prices, this might still offer an opportunity sometime in the next 24 hours as we get ready here for the ECB to meet. Earlier to this morning, it was looking a lot better. We had this big wick up here and price was trading down. At that point, if we would have started making, we had this big wick, price was trading towards the lows. And if we would have traded down and making lower lows during this session, I would have taken the trade. Right now, I'm a little bit neutral on it. I will be watching it definitely and see. Look, you could see how overbought this is actually as well. I think it's come a little far, a little quick. Generally, when something consolidates, makes a leg up, consolidates, makes a leg up, consolidates, makes the legs up. That's a really strong trend. When you see things shoot straight up, often they come back in and retrace pretty hard. Dennis Lanson, you suck. Dude, what is that? Dude, what's wrong with you? Seriously, who raised you? What is wrong with you? Who talks like that? Seriously, dude. Sitting here sharing my time with you, sharing my time, my talent. You can't find this stuff elsewhere. I know that for sure. I know that for sure. And you're like, you suck? Sorry, everyone. All right. US dollar, Swiss franc. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, I know, Lewis. I just can't. I can't believe the audacity of someone. Talk about when people feel entitled. This guy would. Anyway, that really threw me off. I can't believe that anyone would have the audacity to talk like that. Man, in real life, they wouldn't do that. In real life, he wouldn't do that. Anyway, so here we go. So US dollar, Swiss franc. I could see this right now coming in, breaking down of this area over here. This was a channel that we were kind of in, and the lower end of this channel is where my mouse is, right? It's not exactly clear cut, but we broke down the support. We're coming in and testing it right now. So if rejected, does that open up a trade to the downside? Yeah, there's no question about it. You got it, Z1, Rob. You're right. Sorry about that. It just threw me off. Normally, yeah, I moderated him. He's gone. He does not have the ability whatsoever to participate in this chat again. But you're right, Martha. Thank you, Martha. I'm way off, and thank you, Martha. Thank you, Martha, for setting me straight on that. That's right. Emilia, yeah. Sorry about that all. And Martha, you're right. You know. All right, here we go. So I want to get back into the flow because there's so much to talk about and look at, and I want to really just start going. I'm actually going to kind of, it helps me if I don't have the comments on my screen so I could really get focused. Thomas, I know you're loving that gold. We looked at where we're long, and we're going to come right back to the US dollar, Swiss franc in 1 second over here. But listen, do you see that? Let me extend that down. As long as you stay above there and there's your support, right? If you lose that support right around 1690, you know. What about silver though? If gold's bouncing, what's silver doing off this support? Let's keep watching that. I'm just going to put an alert over here for myself. If we make a higher high, I want to know about it. I'll keep tracking that. I'm going on the silver trade as I said we would if we took out this resistance around this level over here, and we have now. If this is a pullback and then a resumption up, this is beautiful. Watch over here on silver. We're just talking about when you're seeing consolidation, leg up, consolidation, leg up, consolidation, leg up, consolidation, leg up. We're not, and what about here? Straight down, up. That's what we're seeing right now in the Euro Japanese yen. We're seeing more of, instead of consolidation, leg up, we're seeing straight up, right? So how long is that going to last? We'll find out. Markets have a habit of oversold can remain oversold and overbought can remain overbought longer than traders can remain solvent. You're right, Eugene. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been a while since a troll got me. That's for sure. Last time it did it, I said I wouldn't do it again. I don't know. It's been about 5 weeks, 4 weeks. It happens. Apologize to all of you. That's all good. No, not Phil, for president. I'm going to, again, if anyone's not receiving the group updates, get on that list. I'm going to be sending out an update regarding which some really recommended books from David. David is in here with us all the time. And I read, he shared his recommendations with me a few weeks ago. I was thinking of them yesterday. I wanted to share them with all of you. And there's also, if anyone is in, I prefer audibles to books these days. I like learning off of YouTube. There's also, you get 2 free audio books if you're not yet already up with Audible, also in the description. Boom. Richie Rich, I love it. You're right. Plunge protection team, get ready to get set and click, click, click. What's going on over here? We're seeing S&P around $3,100, a little bit bid, off its lows, I should say. So as we come over here and we're testing this resistance, is this a place to go short? Notice the slope over there of the higher lows, a lot of pressure, and now you're come down, you broke down, you're into that resistance, start making lower lows. That's a trade. We're no longer in a range. When I say range, we were trading basically sideways for a little while to the upside and downside. And we're now out of that to the downside. You see twice we got caught in over there. Maybe it bottoms. Maybe that's the bottom. But if you start reversing over there, it looks like a good opportunity on the US dollar, Swiss franc. TJ, yeah, you will, brother. There's a lot of moving pieces going on in this whole community that we are building and growing. And not only there, in the group updates, there'll come a time in the not so distant future where we'll get really regular updates through the group updates, TJ. But also anyone who's involved in the Telegram alert channel, it just won't be when we go live here on YouTube or when we have an afternoon video published. But sooner than later, because when I have something, on deck for baseball fans, right? I know it's coming. I'm going to be doing regular updates in the afternoon on TradingView, and they will all be posted through there. It's not happening right now, TJ, but it will be. One thing at a time. And I'm really happy with the progress of the group and how it's developing. We're going to keep pushing forward and bringing on new things. So let's start going through some other pairs as well. I want to also look for opportunity because I don't really have something close on the docket right now. Euro US dollar on the 8-hour coming into this resistance over here at 1.12, right? Call it 1.121, and so far has been rejected. Taking another look at it right now, if that's then rejected again, and we start making lower lows in the 8-hour, that looks like a potential opportunity here to get short. Now, in the swing traders time frame, no question, people should be taking longs over here. Or once we broke over here, this resistance. Step back a little. You have the ECB on deck. That's why I'm looking at this right now. This is clearly anyone my daughter could look at this. I think my 3-year-old could look at this and be like, this is going down. Maybe not, but my 4-year-old for sure, and unquestionably my 7-year-old. But this looks like a possible opportunity. I'll be watching it. Patience is a virtue, Martha. I need more. Thank you for really bringing my perspective back where it belongs. Please don't mind that person. I'm here every morning to watch your live videos because I find value, encourage, and fun in your videos. I appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you for that comment. And, I appreciate it. I want to look at everything. So we're going to go through all of them right now. Australian dollar, Japanese yen. This is now above the support. This continues. Can anyone imagine what could set us off to risk off? What I mean by that is obviously we know what's going on in the US, where the US is kind of falling apart, right? Big time. And is that going to come to a resolution sooner than later? Probably. Is that going to last as long as the Hong Kong protesters did? I don't think so. They're fighting for their lives over there. So the market hasn't really been affected by that. I think the only thing that could really begin to affect the market is, as we talked about yesterday, if the conversation starts switching to solvency, and that becomes an issue this month, which it can, or we start looking at earnings. But right now, we're pretty firmly risk on. Australian dollar now pulling back into this big area of support. That becomes interesting. Let's see what happens down over here. It does become interesting. Tim, hold on, pause. Is rejecting off a monthly 7-year trend line. Wait. I was looking at this trend line down here. I definitely want to know what's going on over here, what you're looking at. Tim, 413. I don't know, but I want to see if it's there, Tim. Is that what you're looking at, Tim? I don't know. If you have a chart, please send me the chart, Tim. I want to see your chart marked up. I'm gonna hang it over here. This does look interesting over here, and I like this was pretty strong support. The breakout of that trend line over here, which is only going back probably a year and a half. You know, strong move. I like it if we continue risk on. Yeah, TJ, let's look at that right now before we continue onwards. Thanks, David. Pound US dollar, I'm looking at these boink. We're back to this area. It's definitely a resistance area over here. Pound is relatively moderately strong today and kind of seems to be running into that little bit of this resistance up here now. It's I'm very neutral on it. I don't know what to make of it. And because of that, I personally, TJ, have to back off. Yeah, I don't see the opportunity. I think everything right now is pretty much a dollar story, and it's been the dollar weakness story. So it's a question of how much further that's going to continue in the near term, like today, tomorrow, the rest of this week. How long is that going to continue? Are we going to see a little bit of pullback on the pound, like on the Australian dollar, US dollar? It's clear. I'm looking to buy pullbacks off support right now, but on the pound US dollar, that's not clear for me right now. I would actually lean towards, you know, we're kind of in a downtrend. We're into resistance. So if the dollar starts strengthening, well, then maybe you want to play against the pound. Maybe. Nong, thank you. Thank you so much. That's what this analysis, this community is here for. As I go over my chart, sharing that with you. And wow, look at that extension of that move on the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. And then not only that, but as a collective to gather the insights that you all offer and share. We came back right up into this area of resistance. Look where my mouse is over there. You could see it. You could see the clear resistance that we came into. This is still maintains very bullish. Australian dollar has been a monster and continues to be so, waiting for pullbacks. Now that we've bursted, first of all, we were watching this really long resistance line over here, this big resistance coming at 0.9129. And after breaking it, I didn't want to trade it after seeing all that sideways price action recovering over here. And the break above wasn't break above. It was kind of muted. So I just decided to stay away. And then we broke down to this area of support down here. And since it's been off to the races, and I think you should continue to look for consolidation and further extension here. It's not happening right now, but I think that's the play on Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. It's looking, Beetle City TJ is looking for consolidation and then looking for extensions. Tim, how could you send me the chart? You could send it to my email is the best way. Tim, guys, please don't send me emails outside of that. It gets overwhelming. Tim, go ahead, copy and paste that email, and then I'm going to remove it so it's not on the replay. Everyone in here right now, obviously, I trust. So let's keep going over here. Let's look at also the Australian dollar, Swiss franc. Look, it's been a long time since I've been monitoring this pair. That looks to me like we're still in jeopardy here of maintaining this downtrend. Yep, we're going to look at all of those. We're going to look at the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. And right now, though, I want to focus here. We'll look at that next. I want to take a look here at the Australian dollar, Swiss franc, because things are looking interesting, not really on a swing perspective, but more from a position perspective. We're coming up into some areas over here where we're going to probably run into some resistance. All right, clean that up a little. Strong downtrend. We're basically right where we were across the board back before all this unfolded. We're back to December 2019, January 2020. But at that point, if everyone remembers, what we were looking at was everything was going to be really good and rosy. I don't really see that right now. I think things have changed. Things have definitely worse. Why do you not have a similar trend? Because I don't focus on the Australian. I don't focus on this pair. I don't normally focus. I focus on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. I don't focus on the Australian dollar, Swiss franc. Now, I did during the crisis. I started pulling up all my Swiss franc pairs because during the crisis, as it began unfolding, I started getting short the New Zealand dollar and Australian dollar versus the Swiss franc. But I was looking and I held those longer than normal. All right, so let me jump over to the New Zealand dollar, US dollar, as I said I would. Let's take a look at it. Let me start with that bigger perspective. The thing that's different now that wasn't during all of this is that at that point there was a big rate play, differential play, right? A lot of people were long dollars, holding that out, and what's happening now? I'm very neutral right now. I'm very neutral. I'm trying to let go of all my bias as everything is back to a neutral area. It could go either way from here. We could actually, this could be towards the top where we do resume downwards, or if you could see this trend line right here, this horizontal resistance right here. If we break above it, it's almost as if it's game back on. So I don't know. I don't really have a play here. This is almost, for me, this is, if you're looking at the distance I'm looking at right now, we're at the 50-yard line. It's very neutral. I don't see an advantage for me. No, there's a big difference back in 2013 when the Japanese went QE. That was supported by every other central bank. Right now, you have the US doing QE. You have everyone actually easing, and it's a whole different story than it was back then. Market continuing up. I'm gonna come right back into it. I do need a sip of tea. All right. Let's look at the US dollar, Mexican peso. I can't believe it's trading all the way down at 21.50. Here we are. We are into an area of support. It looks like the dollar is firming out. This trend line over here, once we broke down, this was the last chance we looked at over here, possibly going long. And then once we broke outside this trend line, no more. There was no cause to even think about taking a long. Now, what happens? This is actually a good proxy to watch for the S&P here. If we are able to come and break back above this trend line over here, this was support, and you can see it now is resistance right over there. If price is able to get back in there, that might be the first opportunity to think about going short the S&Ps, or just keep it simple and go long here as well. But right now, it's neutral. Continue to watch. What happens if we break down? I can't imagine, but if we break below, there's a big excuse me. Go back over here, right? And the peso was making some big gains. This was carry trade. People were actually long the peso because of the high interest rate differential. And that's when the US had rates up. Mexico has lowered their interest rates a few times over the past few months, but the U.S. has as well. And there's still a big carry trade involved over here. Mexico, why its economy is looking very bleak, and its exports are very low right now, even with that weaker peso, things do not look good. But maybe people are picking back up on that carry trade. I don't know. If we break below this level here at 21.36, at that point, I have to say there could be further extended downside, and maybe we continue to look at a weaker dollar. But get back above this trend line, that might be a place to attack. Obviously, just neutral right now. There you go, Thomas. Any target you're looking on that for? Canadian dollar, Japanese yen is running into resistance right now. I'm very weary on the Japanese yen. I don't look at this heavy resistance though. You could see it over here. You could follow my mouse and you could see it. And this was then resistance. Now we're looking back at support. This is a big area over here. On the 8 hour, we've made lower lows. Is this a possible place to be looking for a short right now? I don't know. Put that red. I'm gonna come back to that. What do y'all think of that? That's the thing right now. We are looking at a lot of overbought and oversold. This is the first thing I saw all day that might be offering opportunity. Macro myself, I'm viewing it on the 8 hour. I'm viewing this on the 8 hour, the DXY over here. US dollar, Canadian dollar. Let's take a look at this also. You could see boom, boom, boom. I'm trying to see that trend line over there. US dollar, Canadian dollar. I see that I'm sensing that perhaps the Canadian dollar has come too far. I'm seeing it versus the Japanese yen, and now I'm seeing it versus the Canadian dollar. Both, even with the weak dollar, is up against the Canadian dollar and Japanese yen, both. That's interesting. Two potential trades over here. US dollar, Canadian dollar, and Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. Oh, that was because we just saw we just saw the Bank of Canada. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Awareness, Jordan. Awareness. We're 3 minutes away from interest rate here and central bank statement. Let's watch both of those two. Hold on 1 second. 2 minutes away from the central bank meeting. And then we also have US dollar in play over here. Let's watch these two. Let's watch these two over the next few minutes over here. Let's see if there is what is going on. They're both technically set up. So now we get these news out of the way. Let's see what it is. And then maybe perhaps, things might move too fast to get involved. It just caught my attention. So I'm not going to go ahead. If I was aware of this earlier, I might have positioned myself prior to this news. But because the news is only a couple of minutes away, there's no way I'm going to do that right now. And probably we'll see some big volatility off of it, and it'll be too late. But let's check this out. Why do I think about the looting and rioting having an effect on the current market? Phil, it's so funny that it's not having an effect on the market. It's like everything is awesome. We're in everything is awesome stage, and the market doesn't even care what's going. It's a big deal what's happening over in the US, right? Why? Because trust is being lost. Trust is being lost, and we're seeing a class war being fought, and it's being fueled by the division that that the media and the elites bring down upon the people. So I don't understand why that's not having a deeper effect yet on the markets. But also you saw a lot of businesses, a lot of small businesses trying to open up their doors after being closed down from the pandemic. And then you have, people destroying their businesses. What's going to happen to insurance companies? Are they going to make good on those claims? I don't know. All right, we have just 1 minute here to the ISM, and also to the Bank of Canada rate statement. So I'm interested in watching how price reacts over here right now, and then we'll get back into it. Yeah, that's everything is awesome in La La Land. All right. Canadian dollar a little bit bid over there. Let's see what the ISM did, by the way. A little bit of a beat. And let's watch that versus also the Canadian dollar, US dollar. All right, Canadian dollar firming up a little bit. Initial reaction. We're going to come back to this in probably about 5 minutes and see what his price is doing. That's terrible. Should you short the S&P? Yeah, listen, if anyone's asking if they should buy or sell something, absolutely do not. Do not. If you do not know for yourself that you should buy or sell whatever you're interested in trading, do not do that. You're going to lose money. Actually, stop trading. You do not belong trading. Listen, just, you know what? Start listening, start learning. Could you imagine me getting in front of an operating table and being like, should I cut here? They would throw me out of the room, right? Same thing. Listen, you shouldn't be trading. Don't trade. Go ahead and start learning. Then you'll be able to see for yourself. Dollar selling off on the ISM number. Huh. That's interesting. S&P continues its slow grind upwards. Everything is looking healthy. I don't see exactly, John. I don't see any reason. You never answer any of my questions. Do you have a private group? I don't generally answer questions. I'm doing my analysis and sharing my analysis. Every once in a while, a comment definitely catches my eye, and I address it if it's relevant. But there's no way that I'm going to answer comments that are completely scrolling through the chat all the time. It would be impossible, right? So the idea of this is for me to be able to share my knowledge and analysis with you, right? And you should, if you have the posture for learning, you're going to go a lot further. But yeah, I do have a training program that's not open right now. It was open yesterday, first time in a few weeks. The slots were filled right away. But in the description below, there is a group updates, and you will be notified, the next time that does open up. Scott, we're in a deflationary type environment right now, right? We are in a deflationary type environment. So should you be worried about inflation? Listen, eventually, but not right now. We're not seeing inflation right now. We're seeing a deflationary type environment. Deflation does lead to inflation eventually, and anyone's guess on when that happens. But then you have options. You have options like gold and Bitcoin to protect yourself from that. All right, let's keep going over here. Yeah, a lot of people are being impatient right now, and that's not how you win at this game. It's not how you win at this game. It's not how you win at this game. All right, let me keep going over here. No, that's a really good question, John. John is asking, for a non-chartist? I'm not familiar with that. I can't answer that. I don't know what a non-chartist is. I can't imagine trading without looking at a chart. So let's keep going over here. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen is also coming up into, look how overbought that is. That is way overbought, and you're coming into resistance, right? This is actually something that's towards the top of my list over here, and it will continue to be. Look at that. This is actually quite beautiful. Look at this level of resistance over here that you're looking at. Here it was support, and now we're coming up and testing it, and we came up like a rocket into this level, right? So is it possible? I can't imagine breaking through this level here right now on the first go. Now, do we have, is the resistance up a little higher? Possibly. This is where I have my line right now, though. I expect some consolidation or a reversal down off of it. Be watching this one. Isan, we've been talking about the fact that when the dollar is bid, gold is then bid. They're both acting risk off right now. Thank you, John. Glad you caught that. I think you were the only one. New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc, similar to what's going on the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, although it's a cleaner resistance on the yen. That's where I'm focused. That trade looks good. I want to focus back on what's happening on the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. I like this a lot now. Now that you could see we're taking out the high of the previous price bar. If this resistance hold and rolls over, keeping that red, I'll probably find myself looking for a trade overnight there. Also on the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, these two so far are looking like really good potentials for myself. I'm going to keep going though. I want to figure out what else I could get myself into. Let's look at the euro, Australian dollar before anything else, because that warrants our time over here right now. So this is now resistance. We're coming up and rejecting this resistance. You have tomorrow the ECB meeting. Euro is definitely in play. Be aware of that. But at the same time, once we broke this, let me zoom in. Let me make this a little pretty for you. I don't know how you guys could see well. Once we broke this support over here, right? There was never an opportunity to get into a trade to short this for how I make a living. Now, if we come back now and we first tested this resistance, right? There is a support below us, but look at that support, right? It's a pretty nice support level, actually. It's a pretty nice support level. We already pierced through it once. Would you take this trade if we were rejected here off this resistance? I'm definitely going to consider it. The waves are coming in. There's a big set of waves coming in right now to the market, right? I've been patient for a few sessions now. And now, what is today? Wednesday. We got the set of waves coming in. It's going to make the week right here. It's a question now, you're a surfer watching the horizon, and now you're seeing a big set of waves all coming into the market. It's the first chance you had to get into positions since last week, right? Now it's up to you to pick the best one. That's ZR1 Rob. That's where I stand. That's why I'm trying to be as patient as possible. I believe right now exactly what you said. I believe right now the markets are sucking people in. I do it. Not today. I got to earn my tacos. I haven't made any tacos yet. Tim, thank you, brother. I haven't made any tacos yet. I got a bunch on the horizon though. Yeah, pound Australian dollar, definitely we'll take a look at it. I want to start here on the weekly. This downtrend, as we've seen on all Australian dollar pairs, as we've seen on all Australian dollar pairs, the downtrend has been relentless over here. I could see over here right now, this is where my eyes were attracted to. Look at where price currently is, this little dotted line. You could see that is resistance, right? Resistance, then again, support. So we're into an area over here where there's a lot of supply, and obviously no longer is the downside attractive, right? You gotta go back to the 8-hour with me. Let's look what's going on right now. So what you want to be selling into resistance right now, right? You're in a strong downtrend. Where's the closest resistance, the closest strong resistance that you can find, right? So I started over here where this swing low is, where my mouse is. And then actually to the left is another resistance. I looked over here. It's a little fuzzy. This was support and that was support, but it's messy over there. And then I look to the right and kind of over here, but not really. But then over here, it's a light area, right? It's not the nicest, strongest area, but it's a guide. And that's what we're looking for, right? What about below it, where we just peaked off over there, right? Is that also? Listen, the Australian dollar has come pretty hard, pretty fast. I don't see the play right now against the pound. But, you know, if you wait this out and you are patient and you pull back into a strong resistance, I think then you now have established a very strong downtrend and you could look to sell off of resistance. We'll look at it again, because I don't remember it. Yeah, so the pound US dollar, it's not very clear at all, but it does appear that we're into an area of resistance over here, right? If the dollar is going to base out, you might do well here versus the pound. It's not clear for me. It's not clear at all. It's kind of, if I look at this chart and I'm pulled back pretty far, almost a year, we're kind of at the 50-yard line, you know, in the middle of the pitch, and it's kind of neutral. So I don't really see an edge for myself right now. I would say that we've come up pretty far and pretty hard, and we're now to an area of resistance. Would it make sense for us to definitely pull back? Yeah, and watch the pullback. You know, do we pull back only to this area of support? If you pull back there and hold and reverse off of it, it could be an opportunity to buy. Do I want to play the rejection here? I'm actually, look at all the yellow in my watch list and even a red. There's a lot going on that has me attracted, and this is just not one of them. And that goes for all pound pairs right now. Almost at the 50-yard line again, looking at the pound Japanese yen, very close to what's going on the US dollar over there. Let's take a look at some Australian dollar pairs though, because we haven't done that. Australian dollar has been a beast, right? There we go. We're on the same page. We're on the same page. We do actually have a high proportion of, let's take a moment here to say thank you for all of the likes you guys have gone ahead and hit today, because there is a high proportion of likes to viewers in here, and I'm definitely grateful for that. So again, the only thing that I ask sincerely is number one, if you appreciate the time being spent together and what's being shared, support the channel. Hit the like button, help the algorithm, Google algorithm know that, listen, people like what's going on here. They'll share it with others. That exposes the community to other people who haven't heard about it before. And then, you know, over time, we get stronger because of it. The other thing you could do is, if you learn anything new, hit the like button. You know, that's a small thank you. Just go ahead and hit that like button to say thank you for that. So Australian dollar pairs. So we'll start with the Australian dollar, US dollar. Listen, this is in beast mode right now. And when I say beast mode, I mean that we have broken this yellow trend line over here, right? And now, you know, while we're above it, man, got it. You know, bulls are in control, right? This pullback so far to this support over here has been just a quick little wick down into it, and right away a little bit of buyers came off. Now, the thing is overheated. The Australian dollar is definitely overheated. It would make sense for it to cool off and consolidate. Give it some time to consolidate. There seem to be lots of setups right now, possible setups in the market. I know I'm going to be riding a wave or two sometime soon. And but the Australian dollar, maybe I'm going to give it a little bit of time to cool off and to see whether or not it actually does, whether it pulls back or it just consolidates. If it consolidates on the resumption up, definitely want to be getting back involved. So it's very healthy to see a leg up and then consolidation. And you want to watch that consolidation to see if it's sideways or if it's in a bull channel. A bull channel would be very positive. Bull channel into the support. We want to watch this, but the opportunity is not today. I'm going to remove that flag there. Justin, appreciate you, brother. Thank you for that. Bulls are in control right now. Anyway, you look at it. I want to just, before I continue the Australian dollar pairs, I do want to check out what's going on here on the Canadian dollar reaction. I have this red, I'm ready. And I'm watching both of these. But I'm leaning towards the Japanese yen for some reason. I'll have to be a little bit more neutral about which pair I'm looking at. Let me just go ahead and put this on the list. Steven in Colorado, do I think if and when we see a reversal in the markets, it will start in the overnight session or the New York session, more likely to trap the bulls? Thanks. Appreciate it. You too. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't have any type of any type of thought of when. I don't know. But often strong reversals come pre-market New York, right? That's often when you see a lot of strong reversals come. So, but I don't know, but I do know when we start seeing a reversal, it's going to be clear to us, right? So even as I'm trying over here and been trying, see, now I've paused because we've broken outside this channel. But as we were towards the top of this area over here, I tried to get in a couple of different shorts because this is where the risk to reward made sense. Now, I wasn't trying to pick the top where I would be looking to ride this down and then come back down and test, or an attempt at testing the lows, right? But right now, obviously this thing is continuing its push up. It's sucking everyone in my opinion. We'll just keep tracking it. It's not happening right now, but there's a lot happening in FX. Awesome. MMC 83. Glad to have you with me. Really. Yeah, the market could not only fall, the market could crash again. Guys, September, October, it's on the horizon. Let's see what happens. The market's not crashing right now. Right now, the market is actually extraordinarily bullish. I believe it's sucking people in. If it's crashing, we're gonna know about it. We're probably gonna get a YouTube video that says S&P 500 crashing, right? And we're gonna be attacking it. Right now, there's no trade on the S&P for us today. There's no trade whatsoever. Let's take a look back at gold. Gold's still in a little bit of trouble over here. Maintains so. That probably means the dollar maintains weak. So both of those are at a point where they still have a possibility for a little bit of salvation. Tim, I see the set coming in, and you can sense my excitement about it. I want to continue going over some Australian dollar pairs. Also, Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. Why not today? Look for this thing. We're going to watch how it consolidates now. This was a nice, huge move up. We're going to watch how it consolidates, even above this resistance over here. That will offer some opportunity possibly. Nothing today. That seems to be the theme on the Australian dollar pairs. Nothing today. Wait for the next consolidation, and we'll see if we get another leg up from it. Australian dollar, US dollar above 76.08. What's going on if that happens? Again, this is back where we were at the beginning of the year. That's exactly where we are right now. And in the beginning of the year, things were looking better as far as things were working out amicably between the US and China. Things are not like that right now. Things are not. June is going to be an interesting month. June is either going to be, if we make it through June, then it looks like that we're going to get through the summer with this current environment. Things have the opportunity, things have the possibility of turning bad here in June. What an important month. June is the new May. June is the new May. Jackie Lee, man, thank you. That's a really good. Listen, there's no question. The truth is, if you do have that posture, that the posture that we always need to have before God, right? What's the posture we have before God? It's that open posture, that openness to love, right? Or like a flower before the sun. What does the flower do? It opens up, right? And that posture, when you have that posture, you then have the ability to absorb, to learn, and to build and grow, right? And listen, there's a lot to learn each and every session that we talk of, and within that session, there's so much to learn. It depends on what's going on in the market every day. If you think that you could watch one session and then be like, oh, I know, no, it's a process. As has my 20-year journey in the markets been a process. Always be learning, right? But you can't learn unless you have the correct posture. Yeah, Robbie, this place is not for you then, brother. There's, of course there's God talking here, and there always will be, right? So Robbie, I hope you stay. I hope you have a place for this, but I will always give testimony. That's the day. Everything is awesome. Everything is awesome. And Robbie, I have to tell you, I have a lot of friends of all different walks of life, and they're all my friend, and they're all compatible. I don't ever judge anyone. I honestly do not care what your beliefs are, and I will never judge you, brother. But I do ask for the same type of consideration. Yeah, Brad, it was a good session. I definitely enjoyed it. And I think this is where we're going to end it right here today. It was a really good session. I see a lot. Robbie's a pastor. I see a lot of, I'm excited about the waves approaching. I know I'm going to be able to get myself into some good trades sometime within the next 24 hours. And this session really set up all of that. So a big smile on my face, right? A big smile on my face. And I appreciate all of that. And I appreciate all of you. So I wish you all, that's right, Reza. That's right. I wish you all a beautiful, beautiful day. And I thank you. I thank you. Again, if you're not part of the group updates, I'm going to be sending out some information that David has put together on some books that obviously I wouldn't be sharing it if I didn't think if it was right. I definitely want, don't worry about it, Abe. I got thick skin, and there's no thing that would ever stop me from giving witness and keeping the commandments. So there's the link to the group updates. And I'm not promising anything because I got to focus right now. I'll spend some time right now. I'm focusing on those in the program and on my students. But if I have the opportunity later today, because I see the set coming in, if they're coming in for the Asian session, right? I also got a wife and 5 kids. I will be updating through TradingView. I'll see what I could do. It's really on my heart to get into doing that. I know eventually it's going to be a regular thing. It's just not right now. And again, listen, I try to update everyone in the afternoon. And I also try to read everyone's comments. There's a lot going on. We'll keep moving forward. All right, everyone. Have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you later.